Hey everybody, welcome back to Raf's Craft. So today we're going to try to make a picture frame. Just came back from a trip from Europe and just wanted to put something together for a keepsake for the family for a trip that we took. So we've got a lot going on to unpack during this one. So let's hurry up and get started. All right, so I will be using the Xtool S1 laser engraver. Also used a Epson photo printer. Well, excuse me, just an Epson printer with some photo paper to grab a picture that we took while we were on vacation. But let's go ahead and hop into Xtool and get this thing started. The first thing I want to do is I want to show you, I had to alter the file that I found on Etsy, mainly because the file was designed to kind of stand on its own, and I want to actually attach it to the frame itself. Okay, so first, as you see, this is the file that I downloaded. So I just wanted to show you this real quick because sometimes when you get these things from Etsy, you'll get them like this, so it doesn't tell us anything. And if we put basswood, because that's what I'm engraving on, we still see that like it's all set up to score. Now, if you look down here, or when you look at the file itself, you see you have red and black. So I know that the red is going to be score, so I can select red, keep that as score, and then I can select just black and change that to cut. And now it'll cut the way that it'll burn the way it's supposed to. So I just wanted to show you that real quick in case you ever buy one of these files from Etsy and not really quite sure how to take it apart. Okay, so what I've done here is I've already realigned everything. I've separated all my cut and everything, and you'll see, let me just zoom in here a little bit for you. You can see that these three don't have this little tab here. So the way that you can get rid of that little tab is we're going to double click on the file itself, and then you'll see all these little dots pop up. So I'm just going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to select the dots that I want to get rid of. And you'll see that it slowly starts ticking away those additional, I think they're called vector lines, but I think I messed up there, so just undo. And you just want to make sure that the right blue line is, or the dot that you want to delete is dark blue. So we'll click done, and now we'll have that just like the other ones without that little leg there. So that's how you can get rid of things that you don't want on some of these. Just double click on it, and it should give you those little vector dots, and you can go in there, select them, and delete them, and then click done. Okay, so I've got the clock itself all set up here. Let me go ahead and get a piece of wood and get it all marked out here. We're actually going to start with the frame. So here's the design for the frame. This will take 2 pieces of wood to get accomplished. So as you see, I have my canvas 1 and my canvas 2 is here. So all I did was just put the places that we went here. I got one more to put in there. I just kind of kept it off just so I could show you on a Mac if you needed to or wanted to do a bullet in XCS. I'm just going to hold down Option and 8, and then it'll give me that bullet style. So the last place we went to was Budapest. Oh, hopefully it fits here. Hungary. All right, so I have this output off. I did that just as a measurement, so that way I knew when I put my astronomical clock here, all the lettering will fit. Okay, let's go ahead and get us a piece of wood in there and get things going. Okay, so as usual, first things first, we'll go ahead and get our distance to our material. right, next I want to do is mark out my wood. So we'll click our little flag, mark processing area. We're going to do a rectangle, start marking. We'll go in this upper corner and our lower corner. And marking, and I'm just going to remember I have that labeled up on the 4. Done. So now obviously I want to move all this inside of our cut area. So we'll just slide all that on over here. Click outside just to make sure everything's in. I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit more, just to make sure we're on the wood. All right, that all looks good, so we'll process that. Actually, before I do that, I want to make sure that, okay, that is on engrave. All that is set to cut, and that is going to be ignored. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and process. And let her rip. All right, this is going to take 36 minutes, so let's get this going. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud in the background and you can hear what's going on. We're going to go ahead and put this frame together. So on this frame, we've got the outside piece, the backing. This here is the spacer and the little kickstand. As you can see, my garage is a madhouse, so I need to find the glue. Okay, so I've got this glass, special glass glue that I bought on Amazon, and I absolutely love it for basswood. Okay, so we're going to take our frame. Obviously, we want to make sure it's facing the right way, so I check that about 100,000 times because I would be horrible at it. Just going to first line everything up and kind of dry fit it. Make sure it looks like everything is doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, so everything fits as advertised. So now we'll go ahead and start gluing things together here. So this stuff dries clear because it's made for glass, and it's almost an instant bond when you put it on there. Now I'm going to line everything up with the bottom because I want this to be able to sit flush while it's straight up and down. So I'm just going to toss a couple clamps on here just for a couple seconds because you'll see this stuff adhere super quick. So you'll see the bottom is already bonded. It's not going anywhere. So I highly recommend before you glue your backing piece on, make sure that you have it facing the right way, because if it's upside down, your holes are not going to line up. They're not in the center. So I like to just double check it. Then I'm just going to lay it flat. So when I pick it up, it's going straight on. So I'm just going to put some more glue on the back side here, on the spacer part of the frame. Again, I want to align it to the bottom, and I'm just putting clamps in each of the corners there. Okay, we'll let that dry while that's finishing up, and then we'll put the clock together. See you soon. Okay, so basically you have inner pieces here and outer pieces. Which for the most part, they're all the same, but there is some differences. As you can see, this part here is cut out. You have
that little spot on that one, and these two, you'll see you have little holes here. Okay, we're going to call that our inner. That's our roof, and this will be our bottom. Okay, so I want to make sure I have all these next to each other. So now we're just going to line these up around here. So we want these to be across from each other. So we'll just slide this in here. Now this is going to be a super tight fit. So as you see, some of it kind of flakes off because it's such a tight fit. So I'm just going to go ahead and pre-fit them all on there first. So as you see, make sure when you go through all the trouble to get it on there that you actually put it on the right way. Those engraved marks should be facing outwards. I'm going to come back to that one. Let's see how well these here go together. Okay, I'm going to try to sand down these little feet here.
Okay, so this tolerance is super tight here. I might hit them with a Dremel just to thin them out a little bit. Well, then we might have something going on here. Yeah, I'm going to give them a little quick pass with the Dremel. The cuts are very intricate, and I'm afraid if I push too hard, I might break it. Instead of using a Dremel, I'm just going to try these little files that I have. Maybe if I bevel these edges a little bit, they'll go in a little bit easier. So I've determined it's a little less nerve-wracking to file the base, the slots for the bases, because the parts aren't as intricate. So you can get in there a little bit better to hollow those out. Oh yeah, it's much gooder that way. Okay, so now let's see if we can't get these ones to work using that same method. Okay, so that's one of the other problems that I was running into. It seemed like this wasn't sitting in there very square because it's not square. So make sure if you're putting it together and it feels like it's bowing, like the bottom is wider than the top, just turn that bottom piece around and it should get you straight. We're going to find out here in a second as I get this fourth and final piece for the inside in. Maybe. There we are. So there's the inside piece. And you'll see it does have a little flip open top. Now I'll just glue these outside parts to the inner. We'll see how that does. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this stuff in place with this clamp here, just so it's a little bit easier for me to work around. And now I'm just going to take some glue, drop it on the inner piece here. And again, this is glass glue, so it's going to dry clear, so I'm not too worried about it showing through anywhere. But if you're not using glass glue, that would be something I would just tell you to be cautious of. And I'm just going to switch positions on my clamp here since I have an outer one here done. So I can use that to help hold that outer one in place. All right, I'm going to toss another clamp on the other side and let it sit for a bit, and then we'll put everything together. Okay, so as we're waiting for the clock to finish, we can take our clamps off of our piece here. And I'm just going to glue this kickstand in place. So now all I want to do is I'm going to mount this here and even with everything else. So let me work on that. So as that's drying, let's talk about a few things. So that was far from a perfect project. Just grab some files off of Etsy, try to put things together to make things work. It is not perfect at all. There's flaws in it. And I'm more than happy to show you those flaws. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm trying to figure it out as I go. So I only say that and I only put that kind of stuff in the video to let you know that it's all right. You're not professionals. Or maybe you are, and you just like to watch people like me and have a good laugh who are not professionals. But it's a journey. The more you make, the better you'll get at it. I don't plan on making many of these, but although if anybody wants to pay for me to go on world travel to make a bunch of these for places that I see, I'm all for that too. But just have some grace with yourself. Just enjoy the process. I do it just to keep my mind busy, not because I plan on selling things and making a bunch of money on it. It's a hobby. It's something to pass the time. It's something for my own mental health. Hopefully, everybody has something for their mental health. But just know it's not always going to be perfect. And I'll show you when it's not perfect. But that should be enough time for this to set. So let's see how it comes out. Okay, it seems to be sitting on there, so that's good. So let's toss us a picture in there. This is a picture of us eating in Hallstatt. And there you go. That is the finished product. Of course, you can stain that, paint that, lacquer it, do whatever you want to do with it. I will just keep it like this because I'm afraid to touch it anymore. But it seems to be setting pretty good and it'll set even better with time. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for enjoying the mistakes with me. And hopefully we'll have some more with a little less mistakes. We'll see you next time. Bye.